It's time for high school football coverage right here on ThreeRiversBroadcasting.com, the new voice of Pittsburgh. The Pigskin Report. We take you around the tri-state area with scores, stats, and interviews right from the gridiron. And now, here are your hosts, Jordan and Alex.
Let's bring that down just a little bit. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Pigskin Report here on Three Rivers Broadcasting. I'm Alex Fidrashevsky. We're going to make the move here just a little bit here. Make me right in front of the camera here. We are flying solo here tonight. No Jordan. Jordan is playing basketball this evening for Point Park University. I know they were up at halftime. Don't know what the final score there was. But again, we're here to just kind of go over some of the high school football scores of the region over the course of the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. It's just me tonight. Coach Krzyzewski's at home. He's got practice down at McGuffey going on. He's got all kind of good things going, so he's very busy. We're going to start wrapping down the high school football season. The Pigskin Report is brought to you by Waste Management. You would like to thank them, our title sponsor. They are currently hiring for drivers here in Western Pennsylvania. You can visit them online at careers.wm.com. That's careers.wm.com. We'd also like to thank our title sponsor for all of our sports programming here through Rivers Broadcasting, the Polish Falcons of America. You could visit them online for more information about their life insurance policies, polishfalcons.org. That's polishfalcons.org. Give them a call, 1-800-535-2071, 1-800-535-2071, or visit them again, polishfalcons.org. So tonight, we had a great high school football game on Three Rivers Broadcasting. If you heard the game, I hope that I conveyed what I was watching. It was probably the best game I have seen at Couple Stadium in the couple of years that I've been down there. Chestnut Ridge came in very, very tough, battle-tested, unafraid of this Westinghouse side, and they came at him and they punched him in the mouth. They punched them in the mouth and took the lead early on. Westinghouse able to respond, but not their best half of football in the first half today. Lots of penalties, 6 or 7 penalties. They went into the half 14-14. Gave up a touchdown with 2 seconds left in the half at Chestnut Ridge. I tell you, give them credit. Westinghouse scored with 1 minute and 12 seconds to go. They marched right back down and tied the game. Great first half. Second half, turning point comes immediately. Karan Collins takes the kickoff back 95 yards for Westinghouse, puts them up, and from there, they started to cruise a little bit. They got another touchdown to make it 28-14. Chestnut Ridge pulls one back later in the third. But again, Westinghouse tacks on 2 more to make it 42-21. There was one more score late in the game. The final score, 42-28 in favor of Westinghouse, who now advances to take on Windber next Friday. That game will be played at Somerset High School. So that'll be out in the Laurel Highlands. That game will be played. And I was very impressed with Coach Dante Green's Westinghouse team. Again, they took some penalties in the first half, but they responded. They did. And I'll say this. It seemed like they were still hungover from the Alderdice game last week in the first half. Because it really seemed like, in a lot of ways, they sleptwalked through that. They were sleepwalking through that Alderdice game. Lost that one 14-0. And the first half, it was this kind of, I'm not going to say it was deer in the headlights like it seemed like against Alderdice, but asleep at the wheel for Westinghouse. And because just watching them the last 2 weeks and having seen them now for 2 years, I was sitting there and going, this team is capable of so much more than what they've given in the last, 6 quarters of football. The second half was Westinghouse at or near kind of that potential of Westinghouse. They got the job done tonight. They responded to what Coach Green wanted, and again, they did a very, very good job in the second half to come out, make a statement, get another score, and then once they got 2 scores ahead, it was going to become very difficult for Chestnut Ridge to play that catch-up game. Just weren't able to do it. So Westinghouse moves on. Very, very good win for them. It was an exciting game. It was really well played, clean played. Credit to Chestnut Ridge for coming in here and playing their butts off. They did. They came to Couple Stadium and they left it all out on the turf there. And, it's always one thing when you go see the winning team. And Coach Green's over there and he's, giving the rah-rah speech, and his coaches are, they're pumping everybody up, getting them ready because they got another game next week. And then we finished with them. We got a little interview with Coach that'll go up on our social media, and then kind of turned my attention towards Chestnut Ridge. And, I've been reporting on high school football now since 2006. And, you get to the end of the season, and especially with the smaller towns and the smaller schools and the rural communities, that last game, there's always a lot of waterworks. And, tonight was no different from Chestnut Ridge. The seniors from Chestnut Ridge, crying with the coaches, crying with each other. When you come from a small town like that and you've played with these guys since kindergarten and they're your, kind of brothers in arms out there on the football field, and it's the last time you're going to play together. Who knows what's next for a lot of them? Go to college, go to the workforce, whatever it is. Some will move away. It's the last. This is the last go around. And I told some of those kids, when they were walking off the field, keep your heads up. You have a lot, you should be proud of, and enjoy every second that you still have left. Go in the locker room and you'll get the last speech from the coach and walk out of the stadium in the last time. And if there's one place, I tell you, you never like the last one. No athlete likes the last one. But, if you're a football player, if you can't go out in Hershey, what better place to play your last game than Couple Stadium on the south side of Pittsburgh? Especially if you're coming from a smaller town, coming to the big city and hanging it all out like Chestnut Ridge did. No problems. They went in there, they aired out, they threw the ball all over the place, and they showed not only can you run on Westinghouse like Alderdice did, you can pass on Westinghouse too, because Chestnut Ridge did it very, very well. So they have a lot to be proud of. But nice win for Westinghouse. Cathedral Prep defeated Brashear 50-24. Figured that, Cathedral Prep was going to be a heavy favorite against the Bulls, especially, after having so many injuries over the course of the last, month, most notably to Tamir Robinson, all-state type linebacker, potential kind of high school All-America type linebacker. That's a tough loss, along with Brandon Bazell, the senior quarterback, and then Daquan Griffin got hurt. And, they battled a lot of injuries this year. But, got a couple of touchdowns in there, but Cathedral Prep, just too much. It was too much for them. University Prep pulls off the upset, beating Du Bois. So it was something that we thought could happen. We thought that there could be a result in there for U Prep tonight. We figured they could have the best player on the field, and could they get it across the line? And University Prep, they beat them. So congratulations to U Prep on that victory over Du Bois. So let's move on now. Let's start with Class A, and then we'll work our way up in the WPIAL. So we had 2 good results from the City League tonight with Westinghouse and University Prep. The City League is on the rise. I've said that for 2 years now. We've preached it here at Three Rivers Broadcasting and with our partners at Pennsylvania Football News. Billy has been a champion for the City League since I got involved, and he said, hey, yeah, you want to make the City League yours? Let's go own the City League. And, over the last 2 years, I think collectively between Pennsylvania Football News and Three Rivers Broadcasting, we've put our stamp on the Pittsburgh City League. These teams have a lot of talent. There's going to be a lot of talent returning in the Pittsburgh City League next year. University Prep is so young still. I know they have, Keon Smalls is a senior at quarterback, and so is Rashawn Murray. There are so many freshmen and sophomores on that team. Westinghouse is going to bring the vast majority of their talent back. Brashear is going to bring a lot back. Alderdice is going to bring a lot back. The City League is taking steps forward. I think the only teams that are still struggling to play catch-up in the city are Perry and Carrick. And Perry did have Tyrese Fearbry come through, but Perry, I think, is a numbers issue. They just got to get some more players out and get them in the weight room and get them going with football. And Carrick is trying to kind of resuscitate their program, get some life back into it. And, we could do a whole full breakdown. And I'm going to write an article, postseason article about the Pittsburgh City League that's going to get posted on our website and Pennsylvania Football News too. But I was talking to our CEO back in Jersey, and I was talking to Coach Krzyzewski about this, about when you, and then we'll get into the scores here because I'm just going on. So what happens when Jordan's not here? She's scot-free now. It's basketball, and I told Andy don't worry about the call. So now I'm just here doing my thing. And if you watch the corner kick, this is what happens on Monday nights. I get off on some tangent, and 41 minutes later, I burn the whole show. But again, we were talking about how to schedule for the City League and for a school like Carrick going in and playing some of the opponents that they did. Was it a disservice to Carrick as they try to rebuild by having them play, a Ligonier Valley, who is a very, very solid small school program, finishing their season 8-3 tonight? Maybe a little over their head. Is there a better way to schedule? Southside Beaver, who's 8-3, also was on that schedule, as Carrick was 0-7. But it's a tough battle to fight up there as they try to rebuild. And it's not a small school. This is a pretty big school. So hopefully Carrick can kind of get back up to speed to at least get back in the City League over the course of the next few years. And again, I'll lay out in kind of the article what our thoughts and my thoughts are as far as, how do you go about doing something like that? Because this is a tall, it's a tall order. You got to get in the school, get the kids out in the weight rooms, all that. And we'll go over that a little bit later on. But it's, we hope to see the City League continue to step up, to continue to play better, to continue to schedule these crazy games outside the city. I love seeing this now. While the City League has gotten smaller, the indirect result of going from, a dozen schools, and listen, we all miss Shenley, we all miss all the school, Oliver, Peabody, which kind of exists in spirit and university, like Peabody's sort of still alive in a way. But again, Shenley's gone, Oliver's gone, South High's gone. There's, Fifth Avenue has been gone a long time. But, it's these schools, as the City League's kind of contracted, Langley, as the City League has contracted, it's opened up these opportunities now where Pittsburgh City League schools can go step outside and play WPIAL schools. They can go to Ohio. They can go to West Virginia and play games. They can go to Maryland and play games. You can go anywhere, really. I mean, you probably send them to New Jersey and it's fine. Especially Jerry Hazlitt. You could tell him, like, hey, coach, we're sending you, we got a game. You're going to go play, East Orange. They were 9-1 last year. Be like, great, let's go. I'll give it, we'll give it the old college try out there. Let's go play them. We played Steubenville last year, so hopefully, they can continue to go. But as, there's an opportunity here for the City League to start showcasing itself. And now that they've got the youth programs going in the city again, I think there's a big, big potential that the City League in Pittsburgh can start making some serious noise. And there were some glimpses of that, like when UPrep beat Sharon. Earlier in the year, you had Brashear play pretty competitively with McDowell. There's going to be some things that can move forward here for the City League in the next few years. So we're very hopeful, and we're proud to champion the City League here at Three Rivers Broadcasting. Let's get into it now. WPIAL Class A Mapletown and Rochester, 35-zip in favor of Rochester. 33-0 Cornell over Monessen. Bishop Canavan took it to Burgettstown, 49-6. Leechburg over California, 28-7. Sacred Heart, 28. Greensburg Central Catholic, 8. Shenango over Carmichael's, and Springdale, 28-0 shutout against West Green. So how does that look next week? Into the Class A quarterfinals, you have Sacred Heart, Ulsh, I'm from New Jersey, where we had Sacred Heart of Vineland and several other Sacred Heart high schools that are now gone. So we called it Sacred Heart instead of Our Lady of the Sacred Heart, but here they call it Ulsh. So Ulsh, the mysterious Ulsh school, Sacred Heart to me. But Ulsh, they call it Ulsh out here in Western Pennsylvania, so I guess I have to go with Ulsh because that's what the Western Pennsylvania folks know it as. Ulsh will take on Clairton next week. Springdale and Rochester, Cornell, Leechburg, and Canavan takes on Shenango, who's a bit of the outlier there at 4-6. Canavan will be heavily favored in that one. In AA, Beaver Falls took apart Western Beaver 42-8. Laurel all over McGuffey 41-2. Mohawk nearly tripling Char Houston 34-12. And in a massive upset, New Brighton 21, Wash High 20 in overtime. So what was a big magical season for Wash High comes to an end at home at 9-1, losing 21-20 to a 5-6 New Brighton team. So New Brighton came into the playoffs at 4-6. Big upset down in Washington County tonight. Sarah Catholic put up a basketball number against Neshannock, 61-21. Southside Beaver, 34. Ligonier Valley, 14. Steel Valley took apart Beth Center, 49-14. And Stowe Rocks pummeled Shadyside Academy, 61-8. So the quarterfinals in Class AA next week, you have Steel Valley against Southside Beaver. New Brighton in that spot, and Hot Wash High against Beaver Falls. Stowe Rocks against Mohawk, and your game of the week is 11-0 Laurel against 11-1 Sarah Catholic. Should be a very good football game down at the AA level. In AAA, East Allegheny defeated Southmoreland 36-11, Freeport 34, Ambridge 6. Keystone Oaks, nice win for them tonight, defeating South Allegheny 34-0. Keystone Oaks now 6-5 on the season, and they've won 4 in a row. So nice to see a good result there in Dormont, just a town away from us. So we're very happy for Keystone Oaks with that victory here this evening. And then Mount Pleasant over Burrell, 41-7. Next week, East Al Central Valley, Freeport at Elizabeth Forward, Keystone Oaks at North Catholic, and Mount Pleasant against Avonworth. Moving on now to 4A. Armstrong County, 27, Montour 16. Hampton getting by Plum, 14-13. Laurel Highlands over Beaver, 28-27. Newcastle over Highlands, 31-19. And Thomas Jefferson shuts out Indiana, 41-0. Highlands season started out pretty promising. They lost a couple in the middle of the season and are now eliminated at the hands of Newcastle, who improves to 7-4 and scores a nice bounce-back victory after losing 63-6. to Aliquippa. Next week, we've got Newcastle, Bell Vernon, Hampton, TJ, Laurel, Highlands, Aliquippa, Armstrong County, McKeesport. Oh, 4A's looking good next week, folks. 4A is looking very good next week. Bell Vernon should still be a good favorite over Newcastle. TJ Hampton, oh, that could be a really nice game. Hampton's undefeated. TJ, you know TJ's still good. There's a lot of talent on that team. Laurel Highlands, Aliquippa. Again, Aliquippa's going to be the favorite. We said maybe Laurel Highlands is a little bit of a step below the rest of them. But with Gallagher, if he can break a run or two, you never know. And then Armstrong County, McKeesport. Some good games out there next week in the Quad A playoffs. Armstrong went to 8-3. Armstrong only lost to McKeesport 24-14 in the regular season. So that could be a good game. In 5A, Fox Chapel upsets Upper St. Clair 13-10. Nice win there for Fox Chapel. Penn Hills over Jordan's alma mater, Franklin Regional, 38-6. Peters Township beat North Hills 33-28. And Woodland Hills escaping Bethel Park 27-23. Next week, we've got Woodland Hills Moon, Penn Hills Gateway, Fox Chapel going to Penn Trafford, and Peters at Pine Richland. Some nice games in the 5A classification next week. And Coach and I will break them down on the Three Rivers Broadcasting Sports Report. Only one game in 6A tonight. North Allegheny 49, Cannon Mac 26. That sets up North Allegheny, Mount Lebanon next Friday at 7 o'clock. And then Seneca Valley taking on Central Catholic at Baldwin. Again, as Central does not have a home field. So Seneca Valley Central Catholic will be played at Baldwin next Friday. Out in Morgantown, we know that Morgantown University was up big. I don't have a final score, but I know that they were up. It was like 50 something. They were at like they were somewhere around 50 in their last regular season game. So I think it's safe to say, okay, there's the final score. It was posted by the U Athletic Department. The final score from Morgantown against Oak Hill. Morgantown University 63, Oak Hill, West Virginia 21. So the number 2 team in our poll cruises to a 10-0 record, and they stay in that spot behind Mount Lebanon. And one other score we'll give in the second round of the Ohio playoffs. It was Kenston 49, Steubenville 42. So the Big Red are out of the playoffs and end their season with a record of 9-3. Scored a couple of wins against Pittsburgh City League teams as well. And then on October, I think it was the 22nd, Coach Secocia got his 400th win at Steubenville High, I believe. So that's a very, very big milestone for him. Nice win, nice win for Kenston, and a good season for Steubenville as well, finishing at 9-3. One other score that came in, Dover, Ohio 43, Aurora 42. That's about it for tonight. We're in the playoffs now, so the show's going to start to get smaller. We may only have like one more show. Or maybe we'll do something around the Whippeal, like the finals, the semis and the finals. But we've got some games coming up. We've got Alderdice on the 19th. That'll be against either McDowell or Butler. And we may have Westinghouse next week. We may have Westinghouse down at Somerset against Winburn. We're going to work on the logistics on that on Monday. So we're looking forward to potentially having the Westinghouse game coming up as well. And with that, I mean, again, we're not doing 80, 90, whatever it is, 80 games a week we were reading off, at the beginning of the season. You're in the playoffs now. It's going to start getting chopped down. So we may only have one more show for the Friday Football Scoreboard. And as we hit the playoffs in the end of the regular season, again, Jordan got into basketball, and Coach and I were like, you know what? We did a formal presentation all year. Let's take it back into kind of the radio studio here for the last 2 weeks, and we'll do it a little more informally. But it was a great, great run. We're going to try to get one more in. If not, we'll talk about the scores on the Three Rivers Broadcasting Sports Report. That it's obviously posted every about Wednesday. We air it, and then we have it posted on our YouTube and all of that as well by the weekend. So you can check it out, and we'll talk about some of that as well as the Steelers and the Penguins, and Pitt basketball was a big topic. Lost their best player in its preseason game against Gannon. So that was a hot topic. We'll get that posted again here at the weekend. But I want to thank everybody for checking in with us tonight. We're gonna just kind of call it right here. Want to thank all of our fine sponsors here again at Three Rivers Broadcasting. Let's just run through them before the end of the season. The guard market, Report It, Gym Rat Performance Training, Lawrence Repair, Pennsylvania Football News, Steel City Grease Traps, Carnegie Ironworks, Mother of Mercy Academy, Waste Management, Polish Falcons of America, and Quick Drip IV. If you'd like to be a sponsor of our programming here at Three Rivers Broadcasting, check us out on the internet, threeriversbroadcasting.com, and go to the contact page, and we'll get in touch with you. If you're a listener and you want to support Three Rivers Broadcasting, go to our About section on the website, threeriversbroadcasting.com, and check out the iBeam Club. So that is the kind of listeners club here at Three Rivers Broadcasting. We have a giveaway, for the year that comes with it, and your support helps keep, whether it's the polkas or the sports or whatever it is, going here at Three Rivers Broadcasting. So we have a kind of like a listener appreciation club where you get some gifts from us as well for being a part of Three Rivers Broadcasting as a named sponsor. So we want to thank again all of our sponsors. We want to thank everybody at home. If this is maybe towards the end of the show here for this year, I want to say thank you to Coach Kurzhovsky for sacrificing Friday night for us, the last 10 weeks to be here and produce the Friday Football Scoreboard Show in a very formal setting, because this was something that we had kind of envisioned from day one, to take it out of radio and go towards television. And as we continue to build towards being really more of a TV station in the future than, maybe a radio station per se on a day-to-day basis, his involvement has been so good, and his commitment and dedication to the cause here has been fantastic. And, we love having him around, and he does a great job. Again, he produced this, and he helped bring Mikey D on board here. So he's very, very essential to our success. He produces the community spotlights, and we're going to have another one coming up with the guys from Quick Trip IV very soon. Just trying to, again, pin down that date. It's very difficult. We're all kind of all four, we're all in different places right now. We got to get that pinned down, though. So I know we got to, Bo and I are like, we got to keep getting with each other. We got to get this done. So we got one more coming for you very, very soon. And I want to thank Jordan as well. I know she's playing basketball right now. They're in a tip-off tournament up at Carlo. They were up big at halftime, so I trust that Point Park probably closed that one out. And I had it on at halftime, saw that she was getting a little time towards the end of the first half there. Didn't really pay attention to too much of the game, obviously, because we had our own on. But at halftime, I did check in to see how it was going with Point Park's women's basketball team. So they were winning. I want to thank her as well. If she sees this at some point, thank you, Jordan, for sacrificing your Friday nights. We've said this every week. There's a lot of things that a 20-year-old can do in the city of Pittsburgh on a Friday night, and Jordan decided to come to our lovely office here in the Myers Management Tower and be the host of the Friday Football Scoreboard Show. So I want to thank her, and of course to the CEO at home, who always pumps some scores to us, from Western Pennsylvania. If we get some West Virginia scores that we missed and he grabs them, he will he'll always shoot them over to us. He sent us his Jersey score of the week, and we're gonna go with the Cougars, but they're not the Carlinton Cougars, and they are done. Carlinton football season is over. We're going to go with the Cougars that my friends all played for, the Cranford Cougars. Cranford 56, Demarest 26. So the Cougars trudge on now into the semifinals of the sectional tournament in North Jersey. Going to be favored to win that one. I had a lot of friends that played for Cranford over the years, the Klimex and the Zamorskis and others that were part of championship teams there over the years. So that's our Jersey score of the night, brought in by the CEO, your Report It Jersey score of the night. For all of you at home, you're going to become fans of Jersey football from this. Cranford 56, Demarest 26, a game they were well expected to win, got the job done. So that'll do it for us here on the Friday Football Scoreboard Show. It's a very quick one tonight, in and out, but I'd like to thank you all for tuning in, and we'll catch you here, well, maybe next week. We might be in Somerset. If we're in Somerset, it might be like Coach K and the CEO Skyping himself in. So we'll see how that goes. If I'm out in Somerset to do the Westinghouse game, may not happen. May have Coach in here or zooming it out with the CEO. So everybody have a great week. Remember, we got Mikey D coming your way tomorrow. God bless, and have a great night from all of us here at Three Rivers Broadcasting.
You've been listening to the Pigskin Report on Three Rivers Broadcasting. To find out more about our station, check out our website at threeriversbroadcasting.com. By the way, why don't you do yourself a favor and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at the number 3, the